mom had a conversation with me and was just like, are you doing okay? And through that conversation, I realized I wasn't. I get a lot of thank yous for sharing that and a lot of
Mm.
me too's. There's a lot of
Mm.
power in the me too. And when you're vulnerable like that, you allow other people to take a deep breath and go, okay, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. Most importantly, she's a foster mother and mother of 4 kids and shares life as a busy mom to her large audience online. But in some circles, she's most known for giving birth in her bathroom in her house. Desirae Barnett is here on the MedCircle platform today to talk to us.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm doing fabulous. All right, so give me the skinny on this bathroom birth.
It just happened so quickly. Within 45 minutes of having my first contraction, she was born. So I was hanging out
Wow.
on the couch. I had one really big contraction, and then within 20 minutes, I was upstairs, like yelling at my husband that she was coming.
Was any of it, would you consider traumatic?
Very.
Yeah.
My husband is not calm, cool, and collected by any means. He was freaking out. He was on the line with 911, running around the house frantically. I was calming him down.
Oh
But
gosh.
I was just not mentally prepared for that. And I had one contraction at 7 first, and then the next one came 7, 8 minutes later, and then they jumped to 2 minutes apart, and she was on her way.
When we arrived, Mom was in the bathroom. She actually had just delivered the baby. She had help from the father and a friend, and they were actually very, very helpful. They were able to get us some towels, some things to keep the baby warm.
She's opening her eyes.
She's awake.
Yeah, she is. Well, again, congratulations. Probably did not want to have her at home, but
I bring that up because certainly motherhood is a journey from start to finish. And no matter if your start is as chaotic as having an in-home unscheduled birth or as less chaotic as scheduling one in the hospital, the journey itself, I mean, one of the big emotions that pop up, especially in the parenting space, is this, well, we should all be happy and grateful and positive. What does the term toxic positivity mean to you?
There's such a fine line of being positive and hopeful and grateful about the life that you're living, but also being realistic about the life that you're living. There's a lot of little people demanding things from me all day because they can't do it themselves. Like my husband is a huge help, so I'm not gonna act like I'm doing everything, but just the demands that 4 little children need, you can't be positive all the time about everything. There are hard things, and you have to be realistic about those hard things taking a toll on you mentally sometimes, and you needing a break sometimes. Since social media has started, we're all looking at people's highlights, and mentally we just go, what am I doing wrong? Like, why can't I even get a shower in today? And they're getting photos done every day and looking perfect.
But why do you show the reality of raising a family so publicly?
I think because of how I felt about it. It's isolating to see perfectly clean homes and picture perfect families and makeup and hair done every day, and you're looking at yourself going, I haven't showered in 3 days and don't know when my kids last had a bath. Like dinner with cereal last night. That's the average family. The average family that has a lot of kids or that has one kid, it is all hard and it's all relative. That's most of us. There are people out there who maybe keep a tidier home or do really wake up every day and get a shower and put on a face and their kids look good every day. The average family is dealing with all the same hard things in parenthood. And I want others to be able to see that too.
Well, tell us a little bit about your family.
I have got 4 kids, and the oldest is 5. She'll be 6 this summer. My husband and I started a family pretty much as months into getting married. We had our first daughter, and then we had our second son is 4, and our daughter is 2.5, and then I just had a 4-month-old.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. I come from a family of 4 siblings. And so I had a big family. My parents were big family people. We were always together. We were homeschooled growing up until high school. I babysat all through. I was not the party kid in high school. I just loved kids, and I've always wanted to be a mom.
What are some things that you put out on social media that sometimes people go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you put that out there? That was so real of you.
I'll talk about postpartum because that's I'm just now coming out of 4th trimester, which is, you got first, second, third when you're pregnant. And then after you have the baby, there's that 4th trimester. I found myself not coping well. I found myself staring out of the window very often. Like I was in a fog. I didn't feel like myself at all. And I actually, when you're a mom, a lot of times you just do what needs to be done and you're just go, go, go. And you're kind of in a routine of getting up and it's kids, it's snacks all day long. And you're just doing that. And I didn't even really realize how I actually felt. And my mom had a conversation with me and was just like, are you doing okay? And through that conversation, I realized I wasn't. And I actually ended up going to see a therapist, which was super helpful. And she just kind of gave me guidance on what to do when I was feeling overwhelmed and how to be able to keep going through those tough moments because they were going to happen. The only way they weren't going to happen was if I got rid of all the kids.
Right.
It was just, it was going to happen. So I had to be able to find balance and find rest within the chaos.
So what did you learn in therapy that allowed you to find rest amongst the chaos?
Something big she talked about was one, breathing, taking deep breaths through it, and thinking about what the next step needed to be. So stopping and pausing, and instead of just robotically moving through what was happening, realizing, taking the time to breathe, realize what was happening, and then thinking through what I could do next, which a lot of times was resting. A lot of times was leaving the baby in a safe space, such as the crib, and just letting her cry because nothing I could do was helpful at all. A lot of it was talking to my husband and telling him how I was feeling, needing a break. Can I, not asking permission, but can I go upstairs to my room for 30 minutes? I need the break, which again goes back to asking for help.
Yeah, getting in the roboticness, the automation of life is something I think we all struggle with. And I would imagine that when you have all of the responsibility of multiple kids, the default to go into that robotic state would be greater. And over again, our doctors at MedCircle bring up the concept of mindfulness as, I hate to use the word antidote, but kind of like an antidote to many stressful situations. When you can really get grounded in the present moment, the anxiety and worry about the future, it can't really occur because you're all in the moment, I really understand that.
Yeah, that's a big thing when you have a newborn. If you stop and you're mindful about the moment of let's handle what's happening now. Let's get through what's happening in the next 5 minutes, in the next 30 minutes, in the next hour, rather than looking forward, it helps a lot. And I think a lot of people on the internet kind of skip through that phase and you see people jump right back into their regular lives. You don't see the physical part of it. And I will tell you, I'm not one of those moms that snaps back right after they have a baby. I've still got the belly. I've still got all of the things. And I shared that on my social media. I've taken pictures in my bra and underwear and shown all of the things just to, again, that is more the norm than someone having a baby and within the same week being at the amusement park with their family back in their pre-pregnancy jeans, more of the norm. And you don't see that.
And what kind of values were you raised with that you also instill in your family today?
Being open with our kids a lot is, I'm an introvert, one. So I didn't talk to my parents about a whole lot of things. And I I don't know. I don't think they left that door open all the time for us to be able to openly communicate. And so even though our kids are very young and we're not really having tough conversations right now, I do want to always make sure that door is open for them and they know I can come to mom and dad about anything.
So a tough conversation being sex, drugs, alcohol, dating, whatever, right? Yeah. So how do you plan to keep that line of communication open? Because I'll tell you, I think I had fabulous parents, but I don't think I really ever felt comfortable going to my dad about everything. I felt comfortable about my mom I could go to my mom about everything, but not my father. And that didn't make him a bad father. It just is evidence that the comfortability at 9 years old for me to go to this very authoritative figure was not there. So how are you planning to do that?
Yeah, to be honest, actually, my husband is the one more in touch with his emotions than I am. So I have to work very hard to try not to just brush things off and to invite conversation and be warm and nurturing. And when even, you know, our oldest is 5. So little people, little problems, big people, big problems. So the stuff we're talking about right now is very small, but I want to be really intentional about just being open and inviting those conversations in and not shutting things down, not shutting down. Again, I struggle with my own emotions. And so when my 5-year-old comes to me about something, instead of just being like, you're okay, I try to understand what she's going through, how she's feeling, telling her it's okay to feel that way, telling her she can talk to me. It's hard for me. My husband is very good at that, very easy, and it's work for me.
Why is it so much work for you to share your emotions like that?
I haven't ever really been a super emotional person. I'm very indifferent. When I take personality tests, all of them always say I'm just very indifferent about things. And emotions are along that scale where things are more black and white, and I don't get swayed by emotions, which is good. And you know, a lot of instances where we have to make big decisions and I can think logically about things, but when my 5-year-old comes to me crying about something and I'm like, you're fine, then it's a different story.
Let's wrap this up with 1 to 3. You pick 1, 2, or 3 pieces of advice that you would give to any parents when they are in that moment of facing the seemingly unsurmountable obstacle. What advice do you have for them?
2 things. I would say 1, recognizing that everything is a season. Nothing lasts forever. Everything, especially with babies and young kids, everything is a season. And sometimes you jump from hard season to hard season. And sometimes you jump from hard to easy or easy to hard. But parenthood comes in waves and it's all in seasons, but nothing lasts forever. 2, ask for help. When we were in St. Louis, we had no blood family there. We had our church family, which was really close, but they all had their own families. And I felt like a burden, especially as a foster parent. I was like, I chose to do this. It's nobody else's problem. And so I didn't ask for help. It honestly, you hear it said all the time that it takes a village to raise kids. And it's so true. Don't let that be a cliche. Everyone needs help. I was probably just too prideful somewhere in there too. But everyone needs help.
Yeah, really, really excellent advice. Desirae, we'll link to your social media below in case any parents or mothers want to check you out and become part of your crew there online. I appreciate you coming on our platform and sharing your insight.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Or you can go. Do whatever you want. It's your life. Remember, whatever you're going through, you got this.